Something came to my mind, and imagine that. I was having a conversation with my buddy last night that is like ex-Navy SEAL, and we were talking about how ego, and he's like, you don't really get into this stuff without really having an ego. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's true. But then I thought about, well, that's not true, because in motocross, we get into it usually as a kid because it's fun. It's the most fun we've ever had. We get to jump, we get to go up this mountain, down this cliff, do these different things, and slowly get better and better and better. And then the better you get on a motorcycle, the more fun it is, of course. But then I was thinking about, hey, in motocross, when does that switch happen from this is so fun, I love it, I can't imagine doing anything else, to when your ego comes in? And your ego comes in when now I have to be better than everybody. That's ego. Fear of failure, that's ego. I have to show everybody how good I am, that's ego. All these different things. So when does that switch happen from fun to ego? Because then when the ego comes in and you're having to prove yourself, you're having a fear of failure, you're having to show everybody, you're having to prove to everybody, well then now you're creating tension, you're creating pressure on yourself, you're creating expectation. And when you put that on yourself, well then again, you're going to be tense, you're going to be hesitant. If hesitation comes, then mistakes come, and crashes come. So again, a lot of people maybe get through the ranks quick, but then there's a point where then it might flatten out, and that comes from maybe that switch from this is fun and I love riding a motorcycle to now ego of I have to prove and I don't want to fail. So I don't know, something in my mind, and I went back in my career and I was like, interesting, because I took, when I got done with racing, I was like, man, did I even have fun with it? Because I put so much pressure on myself, so much expectation on myself. And that, again, was probably from ego. But when I was younger, I started in 1984, 9 to 11 beginner 80, and in 1990, I finished 5th in my first national. So in 6 years, I started racing to finish in 5th in my first national, and I believe that came from fun, because it's all I cared about was riding a motorcycle because it was so fun. But then that expectation, that pressure, that fear of failure, and all that's coming from ego. And so when does that switch happen? So I don't know. I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about that? And because again, this whole motocross thing, this whole athlete thing is a mindset. This controls this. And when this is in fear or wanting to prove so much, well then this is probably going to suffocate your talent, your potential, your speed, I guess. So I don't know, something I was just thinking about, throwing it out there. Let me hear what you guys think. I like hearing what you guys think and how you guys feel, because again, let's open some boxes up. Let's look at motocross a different way. I feel looking at motocross the way we have has become stale. It hasn't grown, it hasn't improved. Everything's just technical, training. Well, what about the mindset? What about the outlook? What about the approach? Let's look at some things like that and see if we can improve ourselves. We're improving the electronics that way.